right, for I have rejected him. The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And like we've been talking about, the heart really matters. Just because you might look like a leader or you might look like, a person doesn't mean that really you really are, or that God really sees you a certain way. So this is with Samuel, and they were talking about how he wasn't, not really Samuel, but how he didn't really have the right fit, but really God saw him that way. He saw him as being the person that was the right one.
Okay. Well, let's put that inside for y'all to understand how it relates to leadership. When you look at Tiffany, do you see leader? When you say don't judge by appearances, what do you see when you see Tiffany? I'm just gonna be honest. Just ask a question. When you see Tiffany, when you taking Tiffany out, what do you see? You asking? Yeah, I'm asking. I'm just asking what do you see generally? Because when you say don't judge by outside appearance, when an apostle comes in, because we know her title, we see leader. But when we look at somebody beside us, we don't see leader. We see just another person. And so I'm asking, like, when he says don't judge, do y'all see that y'all do that? Does that come up? Does that happen? Do y'all see where, even for y'all, where people will look at you and say, oh, well, looking at you, I didn't know that's who you were. Even being Christians. You're saying, when you say that, oh, I go to church, and do people see that, or do they see something different?
The ironic thing is, when I was Tiffany's age, nobody just saw a leader in me.
Right. I was going to say that.
I would have been the last person they would have been saying is going to be leading the church of Jesus Christ. Because I was just an ornery, selfish, materialistic, skinny, teenager who didn't care. And all the elders were saying, you're going to do this stuff like you all are saying, you're going to lead stuff. And I'm like, right, I do not care. I don't care about it. I don't care if they get stuff or not. I don't care if people, I was like into me.
Right.
So we really don't know really from the outward appearance.
Even for yourselves sometimes. Y'all will look at yourselves and see what you see about yourselves. Like you said, oh, I don't care because that's not about me. And when I see it myself, I just want to have fun. I can't be a leader because you already think about what a leader is for you, and you already feel like you don't fill those shoes, and that might not be true. You already put in your mind that you can't be a leader because what a leader you think should be doing, or what a leader should look like, and you don't look like a leader. So if I look in the mirror and I think I look like a movie star instead of a leader, then that's why I'm gonna think I'm a movie star, and I'm not gonna think I'm a leader. But you don't know. That's what he was saying. You can't judge that heart. You can't judge what's going to happen, what God's going to use you for. So don't look at someone else or even yourself and judge yourself based on what you're seeing. That's why that scripture is so serious. But I want y'all to understand, when we put these scriptures on there, don't just look at them from face value. That's why I said, when you look at somebody, what is that saying to you? Look at the scripture, verse of the scripture, and use it and apply it to right now for yourselves. Like, what do you do when you look at somebody? How do you judge somebody? On a leadership scale, on an everything scale, what do you do?
And you have to actually have an opportunity to do that with our team building exercises that we're going to do. So that'll actually be fun to guys can do that. And so also some challenges with leadership. So one of the really important things is to remain faithful, remain humble, and remain loyal. Can someone give me a definition of faithful? What does it mean to be faithful?
To be like committed to something.
To be committed.
Yeah.
Anybody? Any other definitions of faithful?
People know that you won't let them down.
You won't let them down. Yeah. And so it says remain humble. Why is being humble important to leadership?
So you won't be like forceful, like all into yourself.
Yeah. So you won't be just like, have like the big, have like the big hat on and you're just telling people do this, do that, do that. And also they say pride. Right, pride comes right before the fall. So when you become proud, that's when you're getting ready to have the fall, and that would just be like Satan with his pride, and thinking that he could be just like God. That put him right in hell. So that's why it's important to remain humble. Huh? He said he said he could be just like God.
What are these
Huh?
3 things?
Huh? Oh, it's actually it's leadership, it's challenges, but you guys will see in a minute. It's the next slide. Will explain it a little bit better. And it says I'm remain loyal, and you have to say it's similar to faithful. What's the difference between faithful and loyal? I mean, it's really close. But anybody know the difference between faithful and loyal? Take a stab at it. Faithful and loyal. This is an example of David. David knew that he was supposed to be king, but then we still had Saul that was kind of in the way of that. But and actually Saul was actually after David to get his life, because people were saying that David was so much better because he had killed all these thousands. What was 10,000, right? 10,000s of people. And and Saul had only killed like 1,000. So Saul was really going to kill David because he stood in his way of him being the king. And David had an opportunity to kill Saul, but because out of respect and loyalty and faithfulness, he didn't do it. So this is 1 Samuel 24. Anybody want to read that?
David had the opportunity to kill someone who was out to destroy him, and when faced with the chance, David chose faithfulness, humility, and loyalty. How do we react when put in a tough position? Leadership has challenges, and we can learn from David's example. He recognized that Saul was still God's anointed. Even though the person in leadership did David wrong, he didn't kill him. How would you have responded?
I just forgot. I never put that scripture in, but that was pretty much the same thing. How would you have reacted to that if you were David, if you had the opportunity to kill someone who was going to kill you, but they were a leader? What would you have done? That's an honest answer. I think everybody should try to take a stab at this question. What would you have done if you were David in that place?
If he had a chance to kill him.
If he had a chance, he was out to kill you, but you had a chance to kill him. Would you have killed him, or because he was a leader, would you have respected his leadership and not?
I would
have killed him.
You would have killed him.
I would probably got somebody to kill him.
Got somebody to kill him. I feel the same way, because this man is really out to kill you. He's out to get you, and you're like, I know I'm supposed to be king, but he's still king, and so I think I really would have too. But this is one of the big things with leadership, is being faithful and loyal to your leaders, and not because you know something about somebody completely going and telling everybody, or because you know that one person does this, because they're a leader, you should respect them and not really bash them because you know something.
Okay. Going back to the 3 things that you were talking about, being faithful, humble, and loyal. I think y'all really understand how that it really ties in why they said that he was these 3 things, that he chose to do these 3 things. That's what kept him from being or killing him. Because these 3 things is why he didn't kill the person. It's not because he said, I'm not going to kill him, and so they're describing him not killing him as these 3 things. It was the opposite. It's these 3 things, being these 3 things, kept him from killing him. You understand what I mean by that? It's like, I didn't just do it, and so now they're trying to describe my action. So they're trying to find out. They're trying to say, this is why. These came before he chose not to kill him. He didn't describe him not killing him. The description of what somebody did is afterwards. These came before he didn't kill him. So he was faithful beforehand. He was humble beforehand. He was loyal beforehand. So those things kept him from doing it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to understand. These are the before part. You have to have this to be able to do that. The reason, I'm not saying y'all would kill somebody, but the reason y'all saying that right now is because y'all don't hold these 3 things right now to keep yourself from killing somebody. So right now you would kill somebody because these 3 things are not, I guess, established in you right now. See, David had these 3 things established. Not that he didn't want to, not that he didn't see that the person was after him naturally, yeah.